evening and good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. Tonight we begin with a massive controversy that's hit the Bollywood, some of the Bollywood names, and it has very quickly also become a political controversy. Yes, in case you haven't heard it, I am talking about the income tax raids that are being carried out, that were carried out today in the city of Mumbai at multiple locations, about 20 locations we are told, linked to Taapsee Pannu, the actor, filmmaker Anurag Kashyap and a few others. In fact, there were raids at Taapsee's house that went on for 3 hours. Now, we know that the raids were roughly at about 20 locations, including her residence. We know that these started early this morning and went on for quite a few hours. Anurag Kashyap's house was also raided. Madhu Mantena of Phantom Films, a former partner of Anurag Kashyap, business partner, also under the lens. Properties linked to Reliance Entertainment, which also has had a link and connection with Phantom Films, were under the scanner. So a lot of people linked to the Phantom Films, which was co-founded by Anurag Kashyap, and he exited that company in 2018, 2019. All of those people are under the scanner, and the income tax then questioned Taapsee and Anurag. They're both in Pune, and they were questioned there. Now, obviously, it has become a big political fight. Before I tell you what all happened there, let's in fact listen into some of those comments that came in.
This is called the revengeful, the spiteful, the heinous mind of BJP. They have only 3 allies. Number 1, CBI. Number 2, ED. And number 3, IT. So, we all know Anurag Kashyap and Taapsee Pannu. They are not only eminent actors, but they are a strong critic of our Honorable Prime Minister. So, this is called revenge.
जो भी केंद्र सरकार के खिलाफ में अपनी भूमिका रखता है या जो भी वास्तव भूमिका व्यक्त करता है, ऐसे व्यक्ति को बोलने से उसके ऊपर दबाव निर्माण करने का ये आजकल माध्यम हो गया है। और केंद्र सरकार ऐसे माध्यम के जरिए लोगों की आवाज़ बंद करने के प्रयास करता है।
पिछले कई दिनों से अनुराग कश्यप हो, तापसी हो, कहीं ना कहीं मोदी सरकार की नीतियों पे खुलकर कटाक्ष वो लोग कर रहे थे, आवाज़ उठा रहे थे। उन्हें दबाने के लिए इस तरह की कार्रवाई की गई है, और कोई ये नया नहीं। जो सरकार के खिलाफ जाएगा उसे हम दबाएंगे किसी भी तरह से। उसका ताज़ा उदाहरण आज के छापेमारी के जरिए सरकार ने दिया है।
मैं इस देश के 130 करोड़ जनता को आह्वान करना चाहता हूं कि देश से अब जो है डेमोक्रेसी, लोकशाही ख़त्म होती जा रही है, डिक्टेटरशिप आ रही है। अब राजा और नवाबों का जो है की हुकूमत चल रही है कि राजा साहब के शान में किसी ने बोल दिया तो उसे सीधा जेल भेज दो।
IT department is a puppet being used by the BJP. It's a Nazi government that's chasing the artists, suppressing those who are speaking up against the government, that these raids are nothing but revenge politics and vendetta being carried out by the government. These are the kind of comments we heard. Obviously, the allegation that is being made here is that Anurag Kashyap and Taapsee Pannu and perhaps a few others who do speak their minds and who often criticize the government for its actions are facing the brunt of those words more than tax evasion. Now, I can't sit here in judgment about the merits of the case. You don't know it, I don't know it, none of these netas do, nobody does. Whether or not there was genuine tax evasion that Phantom Films or Taapsee Pannu or Anurag Kashyap or Vikas Bahl or any of these others have actually indulged in, we may find out at some point basis the investigation. But I do want to have a conversation about this part, that if the agencies are used selectively, if the action by the agencies like CBI, ED, income tax, even the police sometimes, even the civic body sometimes, if they selectively act against people and find faults against people who are their biggest critics, who do oppose these governments. That's the question I'm asking. If there is merit to a case, by all means, one can go ahead. But do we look the other way in certain other cases which are obvious? Other cases of corruption, other cases of tax evasion, while we only focus on one kind? That's the question I'm asking this evening. So let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now. Clyde Crasto, spokesperson of the NCP, Satyaprakash, leader of the JDU, Sunil Ahire, national spokesperson of the Congress party, Rajeev Panday, spokesperson for the BJP, and Riju Dutta, spokesperson for the TMC, joining us this evening. Rajeev Panday, let's start off with you, because obviously the big charge is against your party and how there is selective use or abuse of these agencies. So is Taapsee Pannu being targeted for her recent tweets that she put out, especially the tweet that was put out after the Munawar Farooqi case, where she actually made a series of comments related to government actions?
Today, no one is being targeted because of any tweets. In this country, if you see, in the morning, there are certain people, there are certain group. From morning to evening, they talk against the government, they talk against the political leadership of the BJP, they talk against the nation, and these things are going on. It is not about that. You are aware that it is not only Taapsee Pannu or Anurag Kashyap is being raided. There are so many. You have just shown on your channel that how many people are being raided, how many people are being questioned, and when the FIRs were filed for the tax evasion. This Swan Entertainment is also there, Phantom Films is there, Vikas Bahal is there. So there are so many. You are some people are deliberately picking these two names, that is Taapsee Pannu and Anurag Kashyap, that they were talking against the government. You know, if I am being charged for something and I start talking against the government, that cannot be defense of that cannot be my defense saying because I talked against the government, that's why they are ready. Second point is this: if anything happens, whatever the FIR has taken place, now investigation is going on, raid is taking place. Finally, everything has to go before the courts of law, and finally these things will be examined by the competent courts set up under the law. So it is not like your case or my case. Third point, you know, when even Nirav Modi, CBI won the case, we never said that this is the government's job. This is the agency is doing. People talked ill about that case also. That in Nirav Modi, they are not after Nirav Modi, even all. So what I'm trying to say, under this government, there is a zero tolerance against the corruption. There is a zero tolerance against the tax evasion. There is a zero tolerance against the GST evasion. And that's why this will keep on happening.
So tell me, under this government, Rajeev Panday, and I'll tell you, I understand that the point that you're making, but I'll ask you this before I give it over to the other panelists. Tell me, since your government came to power in 2014, how many of these corrupt people have been convicted and put behind bars? You know,
Tanvi, we have a system in this country.
7 years.
Lalu Prasad Yadav. No, listen to me, Tanvi. If you are asking, let me reply my question. If you don't want to hear, then I'll keep quiet. But I'm saying Lalu Prasad Yadav was convicted. Jagannath Mishra was convicted after 20 years of trial. Do you know that one CM, his son, and everybody in Haryana also got conviction? We have a lengthy process. Robert Vadra is also facing a lot of cases, but finally one day he will end up in jail. You have seen that how many, several MLAs, MPs are you ran a campaign about the Kuldeep Sengar. Finally he is convicted. What I'm trying to say, whoever is involved in illegal activities, whether it is you or me, finally will have to face the law. And if charge sheet is thrown out by the courts of law, at that time what you are saying there, so that you are telling me that
20 years later we should ask Sunil Ahire, 20 years later we'll find out whether it was political vendetta or genuine case against P. Chidambaram, Karti Chidambaram, or the Gandhis in the National Herald case, or DK Shiv Kumar, or even Arvind Kejriwal and his relatives or many of his ministers who are facing investigation or
What do you want?
even
They should be
Anurag
charged
Kashyap
and sent
or
to jail?
Taapsee Pannu. We need to wait for
No, they should
20
be sent
years
jail without
to
trial.
find out the truth
You
of
want
this
to say
story
this?
as well. 1 minute, Mr. Rajeev Panday. Now, I took your point. I am getting a reaction from the others now.
Only one question.
I've taken your point. No. Let me ask the questions to begin with. When I run out of questions, I will ask you. You can then.
Only one line. I am saying, do you want that it should be become the Sharia type of court, kangaroo court? There is a process in this country. It will go as per the law. It is not as per the dictum of Tanvi Shukla or Rajeev Panday.
Okay.
There is a provision under the law. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Sunila Hire. Go ahead, please.
See, the fact of the matter is that the government is afraid of losing democratic battles everywhere because the government is not able to handle the administration, the economic failure, the international border failures, all the each and every front the government is facing failures. So they are very much afraid when the dissent is growing. There is a dissent of farmer growing. Taapsee Pannu has tweeted on 4th February against the government and in the favor of farmers. And immediately the result within the month she got that if you bow down to me, I will give you awards. But if you show dissent, if you speak against the government, then see, I am giving a message to you that nobody will be tolerated. I will send a message that those who goes against me, I will put them behind bar. Whether it is a CBI, whether it is by the income tax, all these CBI, income tax, and other agencies now they are not only a cage parrot, but now they are working as a frontal organizations of Bhartiya Janata Party, and they have been attacked to suppress the voices, voices of not only the opposition but the independent voices like the farmer protest, like the Medha.
Mr. Sunila Hire, it is odd that you are using the word cage parrot. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, but I can remind our viewers that the term cage parrot was actually used by the Supreme Court to define the CBI during UPA government's era. It's because the Supreme Court at that point of time was making the point of how the government then, which is your party, had been using and misusing CBI.
What we have used the CBI to put behind by Raja, to put behind by our own ministers, to put behind by bar our own chief minister.
Again, wrong information.
You not wrong information. You have in last 6 years. You just tell me. Please don't.
Supreme Court of India.
Please. I want you should keep quiet when I am speaking. I don't like this. See, when Ashok Chauhan case was there, whether any Ghotala was there, any scam was there, even a small iota was not there, we inquired. We went to face CBI. Our own people was facing trial, and they came out clear in this government, in Bhartiya Janata Party government. But when we ask questions about any case, for example, we were instrumental for last 2 years. Our leader Rahul Gandhi was instrumental in asking one doubt, that he has a doubt of Rafael scam. What happened? In the midnight at 3 a.m., the CBI was all transferred because that CBI officer was about to inquire about the Rafael.
Okay.
Even a small person of Bhartiya Janata Party is not facing trial or is not willing to face trial or go to face trial of CBI or any police inquiry.
Not only that. In fact, if you're facing an investigation, you can very nicely jump to the BJP, and the cases will also all go away. Riju will tell us about that in just a bit, but I'll allow Rajeev Panday to respond to this first. Yes, Rajeev Panday.
2 points, very quick points. Tanvi, my friend Hireji, national spokesperson of Congress, has said that BJP is losing people's confidence. Just 2 days back in Gujarat, there was a local body election, and BJP has won more than twice what they won last time. That is my first point. So, who is losing people's confidence? That he should understand. The second point he is saying about that we arrested Raja. You should be ashamed that Raja was your minister, and you made a charge sheet that did not could not stand the scrutiny of the courts of law. Why you are blaming BJP? It was your charge sheet. What I am trying to say, sir, you have investigated even the CM, then CM of Gujarat, in one case. You arrested and put behind bar 3 months to the Home Minister of that state. What happened? Finally, we came out with flying colors because we were not involved. Why you are worried? Why you are becoming the spokesperson of people who are involved in tax evasion?
Okay.
Let courts of law decide this. What is your problem?
All right.
You are not in a position to fight politically BJP. That's why you are taking these shelters.
Okay,
Now you
Riju,
will do
let
all
me
that-
get in.
last
Let me
line,
okay.
last
Let me
line.
get in our other panelists as well.
Last
Riju Dutta.
last line.
No, Rajeev
Last
Panday,
line.
I'll come to you.
Can I
Point. You've
answer
made your
him a
point. You've
little?
made my point. You've made the point. Riju, tell me this. Why does your party automatically believe this is political vendetta? Is it because you yourselves are very good at it, at targeting your own critics and shutting them down with false cases?
See, first of all, good evening to you, Tanvi. See, Tanvi, the situation of this country is, if you are a politician who's anti-Modi, then you are corrupt and malign. And if you are a normal person who fights for the right cause in this country, then you are anti-national. That's the bottom line. All the BJP allies have deserted them. They have only got 3 allies now, CBI, ED and IT. Now, when the BJP spokesperson was saying that we have zero tolerance for anybody doing any sort of misactivities, then let me remind my honorable friend and the viewers that 113 sitting MPs of BJP has criminal cases against them, and some have criminal cases of some grievous crimes against them. So this is number one. Now, I want to say that when you, like you mentioned, Tanvi, that BJP is a washing machine where every person who is probed by the central agencies, they become sometimes sadhus. The honorable CM of UP had 16 criminal cases against him. Now he's the chief minister of a state. What happened to Hemant Biswa Sarma? What happened coming to my state now? What happened to Mukul Roy? Siddharth Singh said, Bhag Mukul, Bhag, CBI is coming. He's that national vice president. What happened to Subhendu Adhikari? Openly probed in the Narada scam. Now he's their top leader. So, before you point a finger at anybody else, you should look at your own self, because people who live in glass houses should not throw stones at others. And the most important point here, Tanvi, we are going into a fascist regime where dissent is directly proportional to sedition, and that day is very near when, if you even press the dislike button in YouTube for Man Ki Baat, you will be marked as anti-national and you will be charged under sedition. Please, I'll let him answer that.
Okay, before we bring in Rajeev Panday to respond to that, let me ask Mr. Satyaprakash this question.
Can
Mr.
I just
Satyaprakash,
respond in 30 seconds?
no, I will. Let me bring in Satyaprakash. He's heard everybody out patiently. Satyaprakash, can we actually say that this is something that only one political party does? If it happens, the selective use of our agencies, aren't all political parties doing the same?
Actually, whenever such kind of raids take place, whenever I lost your voice. I don't know whether you are getting my voice or not.
I can hear you. You please go ahead.
I lost the voice. Yeah, whenever such kind of raid take place, every political, if in opposition supported by, they made allegation against of the government of that point of time. Once the Amitabh Bachchan was sent a IT notice, the Congress UP was in government, there was such kind of allegation, same kind of allegation. You know what TMC spokesperson was suggesting, the government at the West Bengal was about to arrest the CBI team. Such kind of government, they are definitely losing. In this case, I want to say the law and legal agencies and IT agencies taking its own course. Why there is hue and cry that they are blaming government for this? If they are not tax evader, they will not be punished for that. It's very simple. So political outfit like opposition party, they have lost the social and political responsibility which is demanded. They should at least respect the legal agency. They should respect at least the IT agency. Why they are destroying their image? Basically, they have lost their ground. So they are taking such kind of excuses to get a kind of mileage over that. But it will not happen. the political outfit in the government is definitely has nothing to do with these kind of IT rates. If Taapsee Pannu and anyone is very clear in their tax, paying, so they should not be worried about. There is a court of law. There is a rule of law in India. So one should not worry it. And you definitely reminded them that the cased parrot remarks was made by the Supreme Court during the Manmohan Singh government. So why? They have misused the CBI much more than any government of India. Congress in history of its government has misused the CBI against the journalist even. So, they have no moral authority to lecture us, and they have no moral authority to preach that the government is doing something wrong against such actors. Nothing, the government has nothing to do with such kind of thing.
No, but that is fair. You can say, if you say, Mr. Satyaprakash, that let them investigate, and if there is nothing,
nobody is above law.
If there is nothing that they have done wrong, if there is no tax evasion, then we will find out, let the investigation happen. But if that is the case, the question that I am asking is, are we being selective? And are we only scrutinizing those people who oppose us? Are we questioning those who back the party? Are we questioning those who back the government policies? Surely, all of them may not be, completely clean. There may be some tax evaders there as well. Let's take a look, Mr. Satyaprakash, at the number of cases, raids in ED, CBI investigations into those from rival parties. And I'm not even talking about other categories, just political parties. And how many from the BJP?
Does that mean they were does that mean that they were protected by those parties who were in the power? Now they are being, exposed that they were tax evaders since very long. How we can ever know what is reality? Investigation agency has to prove in the court of law that these are the tax evaders. There is nothing called selective. It's simply the report would have been with the agency, so they conducted a raid. Why there?
Okay, Riju wants to respond to that.
Something wrong with.
So the question that you are asking, Riju Dutta wants to respond to that. Yes, TMC.
Mr. Satyaprakash, you have to understand, you are a senior leader, I suppose, that, whenever Bollywood is asked to bend and they start crawling, they get Y+ security. And when people who do not even hold the national passport are being given personal one-to-one interviews, so it becomes quite evident to the people of this country. People of this country are not fools, sir. Number one. And number two, Tanvi, I am going to give your viewers chronology on your channel.
People of country are definitely not fools, so they are not sharing your views.
Satyaprakash, let me speak and then you can answer that.
I am not saying who are guilty. What I am trying... Go ahead.
I'll give you a chronology. Elections were happening in Karnataka, Kumaraswamy house was raided. Elections were happening in Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot's house was raided. Election was happening in Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal's house was raided. Then we're not coming to Bengal.
Never, don't give fake information. No, never, don't give fake information.
Abhishek Banerjee gave a defamation notice to Amit Shah.
No, you are giving fake information. Don't say like that. You are giving fake information.
Arvind Kejriwal was not raided.
When the Arvind Kejriwal house was raided? Never.
Please do your research.
The OSD of Manish Sisodiya raided by ED because his involvement was in certain crimes. And Manish Sisodiya told the agency that let the law take place.
The problem is, you are...
Sir, please don't give fake information. Sir, please.
No, your ally, what they are doing is, first do your research, sir, and what your ally is doing is, they are trying to arm twist.
What I am trying to tell, that let the law take its own course. If you are not guilty of any crime, you will come out free.
Nothing will happen. See, it is not about convicting them. It is about...
Suppose I share your views, it simply means that government should sit and never take action against tax evaders?
Okay. Let's take it point by point. Let's take it point by point. Very crucial points have been raised here. Rajeev Panday, let's take some examples. There. Now, why are we questioning and why are we saying that is this a case of selective use of the agencies? Agencies that carry out raids against rivals or those who question the government, but forget about the cases about people who have come to your own party. Mukul Roy was under the scanner, Himanta Biswa Sarma was under the scanner. Very conveniently, all of those cases, I don't know what's happened. Now you'll tell me, wait 20 more years, you'll find out.
Tanvi, you raised a very valid question, and even my friend from TMC also said that now it is happening under this government. I am praying that every government, whether it's a state government or central government, should go after corrupt. Nitish Kumarji has taken over several assets of the corrupt officers and taken attached by the government. I support that. Nitish Kumarji has done in Bihar. Every state government should follow. Now my friend said that Mukul Rai ji or all other leaders in Bengal or Assam. I'm saying this is your government, sir. We have never came in power in Bengal. Why you have not arrested your own leader? Subhendu Adhikari name you have taken.
Why have you made them your leader? Why have you taken them?
Why I'm saying no. We do not interfere in the work of the agencies. It is the job of the agency. We are not like Congress party that we will give a twist to front terrorism. We will not talk about that how a CM and Home Minister should be asked by the CBI about the riots. I am only saying
they are probed by central agency.
Okay, one at a time, please. One at a time. Riju, let him make his point. Let's hear him out. You can counter him. Yes.
Tanvi, we are not here to give certificates. It is the certificate should be given by the honorable courts of the law.
But that doesn't happen for years together. No, Rajeev Panday, that's the point.
No, you are wrong. You are completely misunderstood.
I asked you 7 years under your government, who have you put behind bars? Then you put the onus on the courts.
Chidambaram and his son went and they are on bail. Charge sheet is filed. Case is under progress. What to do? I am unable to understand. You want a kangaroo court that you arrest them and send them to gallows. All cases are on the trial stage. You tell me, Chidambaram is going to court or not?
So you tell me what happened to the numerous summons that were made to Sharad Pawar ahead of Maharashtra elections, and then what happened? ED found other cases.
No, in my opinion, you are absolutely wrong. Someone was only once it was sent. Maybe ED would have seen that there is no merit in that case against Sharad Pawar. What is the problem in that?
After the elections.
We are not like Congress party. We are not like Congress party that we will interfere in the agency's work. And one thing I want to tell, just last line. I want every government should go after corrupt. I want that Congress should have gone before 2014 against the corrupt, but they were corrupt. So they never went after any corrupt people. They went after the political opponents like Narendra Bhai Modi and Amit Shah ji in Gujarat and trying to frame them so that they can lose election. But finally what happened? Courts have said nothing. Finally everybody is out because there were no evidence. Why they went after, I am saying CBI did. And case parrot, it is the Supreme Court of India has given a tamga to Congress party that CBI is a case parrot under Congress rule. I am saying, on your channel, all corrupt. In several state governments, Kamalnath was CM. Why he did not go after corrupt? Right now, Rajasthan government is there. Why now they are going after corrupt? Because corrupt is not in BJP. It is the Gangotri, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Robert Vadra. Go after them. Chidambaram. And finally, under the law, everybody will. Do you see Lalu Yadav or not? Lalu Yadav is in jail now. Chotala is in jail now. Am I right or wrong, ma'am? You tell me.
You're right.
Finally, it is the job of the agencies.
Okay.
It is not a BJP agency. Now Sunilji will say these are the frontal organization of the BJP. Sir, this will not help. I am telling you, in Maharashtra, I'll just give you an example. In Maharashtra, there was a big leader under the BJP government. Only ED started questioning. Now he has left party and joined other parties.
Okay, let me take it to the next step. Politicians, corruption, no corruption, one aspect. The second aspect is those outside of political parties who, just like Anurag Kashyap or Taapsee Pannu or, for example, Mr. Sunil Ahire, Kangana Ranaut. Now, you may not agree with what she has to tweet every day, but the minute she started tweeting, TMC landed at her office to find out what's going on. They didn't look at it earlier. RJ Malishka. Nobody bothered about what rules she was flouting until she started singing songs about the Mumbai civic body and the potholes on these roads. And then they landed at her place. So, who's to say others don't selectively use agencies as well?
This for me?
Yes.
Acha, my dear BJP friend was talking about corruption. Can he throw some light on weapon scam? Was it not a scam? Was it not a scam? You tell me. Why is not talking about weapon? You suppress it. You are not giving a chance to investigate also. You have legalized the corruption. Bhartiya Janata Party has legalized all the corruption, whether it was a demonetization scam, whether it was a Rafale scam. They don't want to inquire also. So you please don't compare with Congress. You understand, first of all. And second question, please, Tanvi, what was your question?
My question to you is, everybody does the selective use of agencies. Why is your party blaming the BJP? What happened when Kangana Ranaut started tweeting against the civic body in Maharashtra government? The BMC landed up at her place. Similarly with RJ Malishka, I can give you a series of names of where the police or the civic body have acted against people who've critiqued the government. Is that untrue?
No, it's not untrue. I am not telling that it is untrue. It is there everywhere. But you see the quantum of this, the Bhartiya Janata Party, if you go last 6 years, they are instrumental in suppressing only opposition, only dissent, whether it is opposition party or whether it is a socialite or whether it is any officer. Even the law agencies are being intimidated. Even you can see those officers who was in election commission, when they show their dissent, they were also transferred. So this, we are heading towards, something autocratic type of a democratic is going out of this thing. So Bharatiya Janata Party, they should remind that this is not good for the democracy.
Okay. Yes, Rajeev Panday wants to respond, and then I have a question for the TMC.
My friend has talked about Vyapam scam. I'm sure that he may not be aware about what was Vyapam scam. Vyapam scam started under the when CM was Digvijay Singh. More than 100 FIRs are filed, and I can give him the list. 1 second. Listen, charge sheet is filed, sir. You are not aware, sir. Please. Charge sheets are filed, cases are in progress, several people are convicted. Second point, 3 times in another channel also with Sunil Ahir ji, he is talking about a Rafale scam. Rahul Gandhi ji, Shahzada of Congress Party, tried to give a spin, went to Supreme Court, chided by Supreme Court, even faced contempt notice. Finally, he was told, okay, you are a bacha, you don't know what to speak, what not to speak, and he was let off by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Vyapam, as far as the Rafale issue is concerned, it was heard twice by the apex court of this country. The problem is, Tanvi, in this country,
that is what,
right now,
what I am saying, that you have legalized the corruption. You understand?
Sunilji, you are saying that Supreme Court, in both the time Supreme Court has passed the wrong order. Supreme Court can pass the wrong order. But what I am trying to say
is free.
That this is done by the Supreme Court.
You give me free agencies.
Rahul Gandhi
you give me free CBI. You give me free law agencies.
Rahul Gandhi has raised Rafale scam before election and lost massively. You should know this, that people of this country have rejected the Rafale charge on the government as well as the court has rejected.
Okay.
What to do, sir?
No. Let's come back to this point. Let's come back to this point, because I had Mr. Sunil Ahire agreeing that this happens everywhere. Mr. Sunil Ahire, you are agreeing this happens everywhere. That's why stars like Kangana also got targeted. That's why we've got, even in Maharashtra, cases are happening. So selective use of agency, with what authority and moral compass can any political party point fingers at the others? That's the question I'm asking. Mr. Satya Prakash, the examples, I can give examples for everyone, where the same argument can be made that just because there is dissent, you are acting out. Now, how do we know whether it's because of dissent or because there is genuine merit in the case? So, Satya Prakash, you may be on mute. I can't hear you.
I think he is not hearing your question itself.
No, he's talking, but I can't hear him. Okay, we're going to try and fix that line. Riju Dutta, can you hear me?
Yes.
But I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
No. I
Okay.
asked the guy
Okay.
to clarify.
So, Riju Dutta, I can hear you and you can hear me. So, let me ask you this question. Is it true or not that there was a professor called Ambikesh Mahapatra who was assaulted allegedly for forwarding anti-Mamata Banerjee cartoons by email to about 65 people? He was arrested by the police and then produced in court, and only 3 years later did the High Court say that there should be compensation for what was actually done to the professor who was jailed. I can give more examples of the TMC also finding various excuses to silence dissent.
See, in this particular case that you're talking about, if you graphically superimpose the sitting CM's face on objectionable material, what do you expect the police to do? That is the first question. If I do it with the Honorable Prime Minister, if I do it with the Honorable Home Minister, the chair carries a weight. I might not like Mr. Narendra Modi as a person, but I have to respect him because he's the Prime Minister of this country and he is my Prime Minister as well. So there is a line. Freedom of speech also has a line, a boundary that they should not cross. But the problem with this country is it is being blurred. And any form of dissent is amounting to sedition. That is where the problem lies. That is why you have seen journalists who have covered the farmers' agitation have landed up in Tihar. You have seen the case of Manohar Faruqi, who is a comedian, who landed up in jail just because some BJP leaders said
So
that
Munawar's joke is okay, but a professor's cartoon supposedly is not okay.
No, I am categorically saying the freedom of speech should not be misused, should not be abused.
No, it is. So freedom of speech gets abused when it is against your Mamata Didi, but it is actually freedom of speech being used and clamped down when it is against the BJP.
No. So it depends upon how it is done, right? See what Munawar Faruqi has done and see what this professor has done. If you superimpose the face of a sitting CM on objectionable material and somebody cracking a joke, and definitely I have heard the story, you have heard the story, he has not insulted any gods and goddesses. That was just vendetta politics. So this is what the country has come to. It is vendetta politics. Anybody talks about the supreme leader is anti-national and anti-government and he should go to Pakistan.
Okay,
this is what the moral of the story.
So Mr. Satyaprakash is back. He also wants to respond to this point as well. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, actually, there is a misuse and abuse of power. But, on the basis of this, you cannot let the law agency to stop raiding anyone's house if they are tax evader, presumably tax evader. You have to go to court of law to get clean chit. When, UPA government, when Supreme Court commented that CBI has become the cased parrot, what exactly had happened that point of time, that the law minister got some information from CBI, Ashwini Kumar, and Supreme Court has directed that point of time CBI not to share any information regarding this investigation. So use and misuse started by whom in this country? Use and misuse and abuse of such kind of agencies started by the Congress party. Suppose the other party in the government and they are doing good use of such kind of, and they are basically not doing good use. They have freed them. The cased parrot has freed now to go against the law evaders and the tax evaders. Suppose they are not guilty of such crime, they will be definitely get clean chit from the courts. So we should wait for that, let the law agency take its own course. But you had asked selective use of something like this. Why it is said? On the basis of this, suppose they are the opposition forces or the critical forces of the government, it does not mean that they should got scot-free. It does not mean that the government is raiding with the intention to malign their image or to suppress their voice. It does not mean we cannot sit, a law agency cannot sit and just be the spectator that if they are violating any kind of law.
Okay.
So we have only one option, that the law agency should take its own court. They should go to the court of law if they are not guilty of any crime. Regarding, TMC spokesperson Riju Dutta.
In the meantime, if they are not guilty of any crime, they undergo a lot of harassment, which can then be attributed to the fact that they are having to pay for them speaking the mind. Now, I don't know the merits of this case. I don't know if there is the tax evasion that Phantom Films or Kwan Entertainment or Anurag Kashyap or Taapsee Pannu really indulged in. But I do know that Anurag Kashyap on citizenship amendment law was very, very vocal. He was part of the protest. He was part of several of these public gatherings. He said CAA is not going anywhere. Taking anything back will defeat them. Everything will be burned to ashes. He went on to even call the government fascist. He said this has gone too far, cannot stay silent any
Even
longer.
on the basis
This
of
government
that,
is
Tanvi,
clearly
agency
fascist.
cannot sit silent
What
if
did...
they have proof of something.
One minute, please. These are their
Tanvi,
comments.
have
I
you
am
seen
just
what
putting
happened
out
to
the
that,
comments. What did
have you
Taapsee
seen what
Pannu
happened to
say?
the
On
Panday?
after the farm law protests, after the clashes and the action against those linked to the farm protests, and after the Munawar Farooqi case, she said, if one tweet rattles your unity, one joke rattles your faith, or one show rattles your religious belief, then it's you who has to work on strengthening your value system and not becoming propaganda teacher for others. She also very openly took on the BJP after a Haryana Neta trivialized the farmers' deaths, and she said, value of human life, zilch, value of people who grow your food, zilch, mocking their deaths, priceless, slow claps. Which is why today this question is being asked. Good evening to Mr. Majid Memon, MP for Rajya Sabha of the NCP, joining me right now on the phone line. Mr. Majid Memon, how does one prove that any case is a case of selective action against the dissenters or a meritorious case of tax evasion or corruption?
Now, there has been a lot of hue and cry about this income tax rate. As it is, there is a perception prevailing among the people who may not be on this side or that side. See, I would rather speak more than as a politician, as a lawyer, with having sufficient experience of criminal trials and criminal investigations. I think Income Tax Department would also owe a duty to satisfy those who are raising eyebrow and saying that this is a vindictive step. Then income tax spokesperson must immediately inform that, well, this is not a vindictive step, this is a regular criminal investigation that has begun. But unfortunately, or coincident is that today itself, some hours ago, the Honorable Supreme Court in Farooq Abdullah's case has said, the whole nation has seen it, that criticizing the government is no offense. And in a democracy, those who criticize the government should not be called anti-national or should not be slapped with sedition charges or should not be harassed or victimized. Now here, we are hearing so many voices that this is vindictive, Income Tax Department is the puppet, and Income Tax Department is being used, more particularly vigorous use of central agencies, you see, begins when the elections near in different states, and therefore there appears to be some substance in this kind of an argument against income tax. So Income Tax Department must come forward, and as it is, as far as rates are concerned, rates are required to be preceded with some substance, with some material against the people who are to be raising. So let Income Tax Department speak out and say that yes, apart from politics, apart from vindictive allegations that is being spoken about, see, we have done our duty within the four corners of law. We have sufficient material for going to X or Y, raiding the premises. For that, we have taken all lawful steps also. They should try to justify it more so when the perception, unfortunately, is against them. All central agencies are allegedly being found to be, you see, acting on their instructions of their political masters, which would be very unfortunate if it is true.
It would be very unfortunate if it is true, but an interesting point that you raised, and if you could just hold on for a bit, because I want the BJP to also respond to this, Rajeev, Panday, and I think there have been at least 3 instances of courts speaking about sedition, the use of the sedition law, and the action being taken over dissent, and saying dissent is an inherent, integral part of democracy, and you cannot be using the sedition law in such manner.
Tanvi, I completely agree with Majid Menon Sahab that dissent is very important in the democracy, and there is no question, even Honorable Supreme Court of India in several cases it has held. But as far as talking against the government and talking against the country is different. Farooq Abdullah said that now 370 will be restored by China. This is Farooq Abdullah. This is our member of parliament. He should be ashamed for his statement that Article 370 and Article 35 capital A will be restored by China. That is first point. Second point, I completely agree with Majid Menon Sahab. He said there should be some preceding documents. You know, in every raid, before that, you have to make out a case. A file has to go. People will have to discuss that case, whether we have anything material there or not. Third point, as far as the phantom case is concerned, you know, Anurag Kashyap, this FIR is filed long back. Anurag Kashyap was director of Phantom Films. Am I right or wrong? So now, if Phantom Films is under the cloud and income tax is investigating that case, and one ex-director is being raided, and then you say, because he is talking, Taapsee Pannu, whatever tweet she has done, it is done for publicity. But she doesn't know anything politics. Maybe somebody may be making her tweets and she is tweeting. So I don't want to comment because I don't want to say anything about her.
Well, why would you? Please don't. I don't think these are valid comments and appropriate comments to make for a person who is not here to defend herself.
What I'm saying,
why would you want to comment on what she knows and what she doesn't know?
No, because, you know, what I'm saying...
No, please don't.
Every
citizen in this country has the right to comment on government actions and government policies. Whether they are right or wrong is a different aspect. Similarly, what Farooq Abdullah may have said, you may think that he should be ashamed of himself, but that doesn't amount to sedition. That doesn't amount to harassment or action against under the law is the point.
Tanvi, do you feel ashamed or not when he said
the point of debate is not that. The point of debate is whether it's seditious or not. Is it seditious?
No. It is
whether you feel ashamed doesn't make it seditious.
That will decide by the court. I am only saying, on your channel several times it is shown one of the very big director and actor. When he was asked what is the full form of CAA, he was not aware, but he went and he gave a lecture. You know, CAA will break the country. It will take out the citizenship. That means he has not read the act. What to do with that, people? But I agree with Majid Menon Sahab. There will be some certain documents. There will be some preceding documents. There will be some preceding things. And on that basis only this kind of investigation takes place.
Mr. Majid Maman, is this also part of the larger debate and narrative that those who are not into the system shouldn't be speaking about it? What does Anurag Kashyap really know about the Citizenship Amendment Act to be tweeting so furiously?
See, the larger debate would be not Anurag Kashyap or Taapsee or any individual person. The larger debate would be for the justice system of our country. I am sorry to say that people have started believing that central agencies are dancing at the tunes of political masters' directions, which has to be, if it is untrue, it has to be immediately settled, because law is above. See, nobody is above law, and when somebody says that nobody is above law, would mean that public servants who are using law as their strength are also not above law. And they should not be vindictive. They should not appear also, because justice must not only be done, justice must appear to have been done. And here, unfortunately, with instances like this and with debates like this, when people start talking about misuse of agencies, and I think we will have to take corrective steps, and the agencies must win confidence of the people that we are working as slaves of laws and serving cause of justice and not political masters.
Well, I know what you're saying, and I definitely agree with you there, but unfortunately, I am not as optimistic as you are about bringing about a change. Look at the Central Bureau of Investigation, and no offense to any singular person or official, and I think there are many large number of hard-working, honest officials in these institutions as well. But one after the other, those who were at the helm of it have faced corruption charges themselves, have been mired in controversies, and it's not new to the CBI, it's not new to any of the other investigating authorities either. Unfortunately, people's trust in these agencies right now is at rock bottom. And every action that is taken by any of these agencies is seen, even by the citizens, from that prism, from the political point of view. Oh, why is this happening? What did he say or do? There isn't that trust must be rebuilt. Thank you so much, Majid Menon, for speaking with us. Riju Dutta wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please.
See, when the BJP spokesperson said, made personal comments on why they are tweeting, why they are not tweeting. Now, let me ask, why, after the Rihanna tweet, because you guys were expecting Swara Bhaskar and you had all the sedition charges ready, suddenly the script got flipped when Rihanna tweeted, and then all of a sudden, all the top shot celebrities of our country copy-pasted a particular tweet where you have got the likes of Sachin Tendulkar also involved in it. So then it is all right. So aap kare to chamatkar, hum log kare to gunegar. Why this double standard? And it is not about be putting anyone behind the bar. The logic behind all these agencies is nothing but bullying. But it is about arm twisting, intimidating people that you cannot talk against the government, you cannot talk against the supreme leader, and within quotes I'm using the word supreme leader. You cannot challenge his authority, you cannot have a freedom of speech, you cannot have democracy in this country. If you do so, we will hassle you or we will put you behind bars, or sometimes we might even shoot you if you are in UP. So that is what the country has come to.
Who wants to respond to that? Mr. Satya Prakash wants to respond. Yes.
Dissent is very integral part of democracy, but at the same point of time, dissent cannot be made as a bulletproof to save from law. When the law is taking its own course, they are very critical and suppose honest from the government side. Anything they have not committed crime, they should not say, oh, come on, if we are criticizing government is targeting us. They should come forward, oh, we are clean. They should prove that they are very clean. And when you say that there is a selectivism, understand that if the government would not have anything, IT agency would not have anything in their hand, they would not have raided them because they are very critical of the government. They very well aware of that they will be, targeted by such kind of blame. So IT agency raid on these people, you cannot just give clean cheat to them that, oh, they are very much honest and they have never done anything. We should understand one thing, that dissent of the government cannot become the glass or bulletproof for saving their crime or anything whatever they would have been violating or would have violated. So understand in such a situation the government should not be blamed. At the same point of time, what Riju said, every time you are coming out of such kind of whims and fancy, I must tell you, Riju, that your government were about to arrest CBI team in West Bengal. And under the supervision and direction of the Supreme Court, your police commissioner was questioned in the Assam, in some other state. Understand, TMC? You have violated such kind of law.
Okay, I am out of time, but quick 30-second answer from Riju. Yes.
Yeah, you can answer.
Again, I will come back to Satya Prakash. Again, I will come back to chronology. Rajeev Kumar, the commissioner, was probed by CBI because the general elections were 2 months away. It is the same thing that has happened when Amit Shah was given a defamation case by Abhishek Banerjee. 2 days later, the BJP state secretary was caught with 100 grams of cocaine, and on the third charge, sister-in-law was served the notice.
Laughable excuses.
The chronology, why CBI specifically is used during the elections and only on the opposition, whereas the turncoats marked by corruption are the BJP top bosses. This is what we need to think about.
Well, I am completely out of time on this conversation, so I will have to thank all of you for joining me on this conversation. The point is, viewers, it is very difficult to say. I'm not just talking about when parties target only their rivals, political vendetta when it is between two political parties, and ED raids or CBI raids or income tax raids and investigations and cases are opened, put in cold storage, opened again at the right time around the election time. I think that's pretty much a system that everybody uses, all political parties are guilty of using, and it's a widespread trend now. But it does become a larger problem when citizens also get dragged in. When activists, celebrities, intellectuals, youngsters, professionals, lawyers, anybody, if they get targeted for speaking up, it's a problem. Now, I don't know what has happened in this case, and that is for the income tax officials to investigate, prove their case in court if there indeed has been tax evasion. But since the political parties are jumping up and down here and saying, oh, this is because Anurag Kashyap spoke up, Taapsee Pannu spoke up, I just want you to think about it. Can any political party really claim a higher moral ground? Didn't the same just happen with Kangana Ranaut when she spoke up here in the city of Mumbai? Hasn't the same happened in state after state with activists, with professors? Then shouldn't the problem be a larger systemic problem that we speak up against and question the selective use of the agencies? The selective use. That's the point that I'm making. Thank you so much for joining us.